Hello everybody and welcome to VFR. Today we're continuing our mainliner flight in our United DC-6B. Continuing service for United 651, flying here out of San Francisco, California, heading up to Portland and then on to Seattle, Washington. So thanks for coming along this evening. We're gonna get this airplane fired up. We got about a 2-hour flight up to Portland, and then we will kind of do a quick turn up to Seattle, assuming we don't hit any snags. So real quick, let's go through the flight plan and see what's going on. If we get Navigraph up, let's see where we're at. We're at San Francisco down here, SFO, and what we're going to be doing is wind is 050 at 12 knots. We got a pretty stiff wind. San Francisco departing real world on the ones, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fly off. We're going to plan for runway 1 right, because it's slightly longer. And then we're going to make a left-hand turn direct to the Point Reyes VOR here. And then we're basically going to follow these airways up towards Portland. So the Santa Rosa DME there. And then we're going to take that to pick up the Mendocino VOR out there at the Geter intersection there on that airway, and then we'll make the right turn direct on up to the Red Bluff VOR Red Bluff, and we'll basically snake our way up here. So we hit Eugene, and from Eugene then we'll kind of plan our approach into Portland. Kilo Papa Delta X-ray. So that is our basic flight plan. Let's get into it. So thank you all for coming along tonight on this continuation of United's flight 651 up the Pacific coast here in old school mainliner colors. We're not going to waste any time. Let's get started. We've already flown 2 flights today, so we're just going to ask the guys to get ready and get going. If you missed our last stream last week, we flew from San Diego to Los Angeles to San Francisco. We didn't end up in the water, but we did have a power failure. So I will be interested to see. I was reading on the forums, I was reading online, I think it might be a bug. So if we see it again, it may necessitate a reinstall. But for the moment, we look okay. Eddie, welcome aboard. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming along here. United Flight 651. Just letting our letting the dream team get this thing ready. Let's do our part as the pilot in command. Let's get some weather. What's the altimeter here? Where's Sky Vector? So San Francisco, wind 050 at 12 knots. Sensor visibility clear. 13 degrees C. Altimeter 3008. 30 and closer to 1 than 0, and that should zero out. That's about right.
Set to idle. Propellers.
Good point. I should check my controls.
Forward and 3. Before start checks complete. Start engines.
All right. So, magnetos to both. Standard operating procedure. And we'll get it set. She has a nice looking plane. That DC-6. It is a looker. All right. I didn't check fuel pressure.
6.
We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Boost prime and get the right lever. And now we just hope that I did it right. Stabilizing. Yeah, you flew 310 today. Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites. Good fun, sporty plane. That's definitely more of a sporty. Definitely more of a sporty look. The DC-6 more classic Propliner muscle. That's good, and I'm not. I've heard different things about the mixture, so I'm going to leave that all up. So it's one less thing I have to bounce around for. Do we have fuel pressure in engine 4? We do. Let's get this thing started.
3.
And there's engine 4. We'll get it rolling. It does look like we have electrics back, which is good. If you missed the last stream, we had an electrical failure on final into San Francisco. So I was following a bad indication on my glide slope and almost put us in the water, but we made it this time. And we will see what adventures are in store for us today. So engine 2 now, everything's set up. We got fuel pressure there. Let's hit it.
3, 6, 9, 12.
It's starting to earn warm weather, you know. Pacific Coast not challenging us today with its weather, really. We'll see as we get further north. Magnetos to both. Low. Selector 1. So hope y'all are doing well tonight. Hope you guys are flying fun places, doing fun things. And if you're just you're flying with us,
6, 9,
yeah, boost prime.
12.
If you're vicariously flying along with us, welcome aboard. We're going to be getting going here in just a minute. We've got the engines fired up. We'll do a little mini run up. We'll just probably cycle the mags and run it up to high power for a minute just to make sure we actually have fuel and make sure our engines don't die. Let's check our maintenance. It's still showing I'm green on everything, which is good. Let's load up some passengers too. We're going to be pretty full today. 61, maybe not quite a full cabin, but not empty, certainly. And we'll say we've topped off here. That's fine. That gives us gross weight 96,000 pounds, which is going to mean we're going to be doing a wet takeoff today. Wet takeoff. And Ed, you're flying from your hometown in Ohio to Denver. That's, yeah, short trips. 310 is a great plane for that. We finished up our Transcon 2022 a couple weeks ago, where we did that similar concept, flying across the U.S., and it was really fun. It was a really great plane for it. Just get a lot of good stuff there. Now, can I get out of here without a push? Maybe. Gentlemen, after start, please.
Off and off. Battery switch. Plane battery. Generators and inverters. Checked and on. Emergency lights. Armed. Ground power. Removed. After start checks complete.
All right, very good. I think, well, let's see. Can I make it if we really cut it? Probably. We could also power back if we wanted to. Let's give it a try. Now, sometimes it doesn't like to do that. From a stop. I don't know if we still have chocks on or what. Well, we listen to the roar of that. I got nothing in. I got no chocks on. Am I holding down the brakes? I've done that. Try not to clip the jetway, but you know, in our version, we'll pretend that jetway is not here. Okay. So we are out San Francisco to taxi. We're going to be taxiing to runway 1 right via, let's call it Alpha Lima, or Alpha 1, I guess would be more appropriate. Alpha 1 to it. Well, it's a good way to learn it. Heading mode is all you really need. Sometimes it's fun to simplify the autopilot a little bit too, because I think it's easy to get into the idea that you have to follow the magenta line, and that's the function that you have to use. But that, I mean, that's one of the fun things about DCS and some of the combat flight sims, is that those autopilots, a lot of them, like on the Harrier or on the Hornet, are... You get heading hold, you get altitude hold, you know, you get wings level, you can hold altitude, or hold attitude, and those are your options. Of course, the Hornet can do more than that, but... We're going to taxi basically around the behind runway 1 right, out here. And we're going to take off towards the bay here at San Francisco. I also wanted to do a little run up here at the end, so we'll pull off here in a little bit. And just run up the engines real quick before we run all our before start checks, just to make sure we get the oil nice and warmed up. Everything else good. So thank you all for coming along, for just joining us. We are flying United Flight 651 in our beautiful United Mainliner DC-6B livery. Classic 1959. This route is from the 1959 timetable. So just before the classic kind of 60s United livery, before the jet age, but still United. This is kind of from the time where the DC-6 would be a mainstay of all these big commercial fleets, or a lot of them. Alright, we'll pull off here and just turn it around a little bit and just get out of the way of all the people who aren't here. Floating taxiway. I'm really looking forward to getting to San Francisco Airport. Among other things. I don't fly out here that much. But it's a really cool... I mean, San Francisco is a pretty cool, interesting layout, because it is kind of that big cross where you have 4 crossing runways in the middle. And they stagger the landings and departures. Alright, so let's... we'll throttle up here to around 1700 RPM. Just gently. I should get rid of the gust lock. So all these things can equalize. We'll just kind of let that run. I'll put parking brake on. And we'll just check all our engine instruments, make sure that's looking good. Oil pressure good. Oil temperature is in the green. Carb air is looking all right. We have water pressure. And we can check that too. We want to come down, and since we're going to be using it, let's make sure we do have 30 inches. Or I think it's PSI. No, pounds per something inch. We're not using it yet, but we do have water pressure, so that's good. And we can also cycle our mags, so we'll do... two and 4 both. We should see a difference. 2 and 4 right. We should see a difference. One and 3 left. And 1 and 3 right. Just a quick mag check here. Not getting a lot of drop on that engine 3 left. Or that engine 3 right. Let's check engine 3 here real quick. So there's a drop on that left mag. Back to both. A small drop on that right mag. We do a feather test. I would say the DC-6 it does fly pretty easy once you have it going. As long as you don't, the DC-6 flies pretty easily as long as you don't step into one of its many bear traps. So like in normal operation, if you're doing everything fine, it's pretty forgiving to fly. It feels pretty stable in the air. It's actually wonderful to fly like that. But when you do something, it's easy to do something wrong, and that troubleshooting process can be difficult, especially when you're free falling out of the air. So there's a lot of game-ending mistakes you can make in the DC-6. That's all looking good, and that's kind of why I'm sitting here doing this, just to make sure that we have everything. I'm not going to go through all the prop governors and stuff. I think this is going to be just fine for us. So let's bring our engines back to idle and get ready to taxi with the before takeoff checklists. But the AFE does a lot of the work for you. I mean, and I think it's a good divvying up of the workload if you want it. And that works pretty seamlessly if you follow the directions. Certainly, there's more you can do than just that, but
Down, forward, pressure, quantity checked. Okay.
That's the level I can get to.
Flaps 20. Flaps set 20. Windows and turbine. Closed and on. Controls. Gust lock released. Free. Potato. On.
Okay, and so, I mean, while I use the AFE, obviously, while they're doing their thing, though, we should be doing our work because there's plenty to go around. We need to punch in this Point Reyes DME, which is going to be on 113.7. And then the Santa Rosa, which is going to be 116.15. And we are flying with the old radios. We can get a GPS in there, but for the moment we are not. And after that we'll need 112.3. So I'm just getting the radios preset, and this is all stuff you can do while they're doing their work. 115.7 is the other one we will need. 115.7, I think that fills up our radio slots. 115.7. Okay. So I think we're ready to go. Everyone good? Let's get rolling. Remember, off, we are 96,000 pounds gross weight, so we are going to be doing a wet takeoff. We'll throttle up gently. And what did I say we were doing? Alpha 1, so we need to kind of keep taxiing out here around behind runway 1 left. And we're going to take runway 1 right just for the extra 1,000 feet of runway it gives us. This is live weather, I believe, although I haven't... yeah, I'll verify it. That windsock... Well, the wind's died down. Well, it should be live weather. Windsock was going a minute ago, but maybe we've gotten an update. What time is it? 27. We really shouldn't have, but maybe. Oh yeah, so the wind now showing 100 at 5. So we're still good here. More of a crosswind than I would like. But we're tough. DC-6 is a tough airplane. We'll be good. Now, it was much stronger than it. If I saw 110 at 10, we might start thinking about going up to the runway to the 10s and changing our taxi. Because again, this is an older airplane. It's not as old as the DC-3 or a Boeing 247 where we're super in, but our crosswind tolerances are not that high. And that's that's suboptimal compared to 0.5 at 100 knots. All right, so we're going to roll out onto the runway and get set up. We're going to do a wet takeoff.
On. 30 inches stabilize. 30 inches stabilize.
And now I wasn't supposed to hit that button right there, but we'll make it work. It'll be all right. We'll do a little southwest rolling takeoff. No, we'll just put on the brakes as we line up here.
30 inches stabilize.
All right, and the important part here, we are waiting for full power set.
Full power, please. Going full power.
When we see full power, we'll go straight ahead. We're going to go flying at 100 knots. If something happens before that, we're going to abort the takeoff and go full reverse thrust. Otherwise, we'll figure it out in the air and pick the best solution in front of us. Again, it's going to be a left-hand turn off the runway. And we'll be looking for a heading of approximately...
Full power set.
We'll be heading for Point Reyes. We'll just head direct to the VOR. But it'll be a left-hand turn and we'll fly up the bay a little bit. Full power set. We're rolling. Airspeed's alive, 40 knots. We're lumbering down the runway, 80 knots here. And at 100, we will look to go flying. Hopefully it wants to. And just gently... We got lots of runway, so let's just put it into its head that this airplane wants to fly. And just gently climbing out. But really, we want to let that speed build up. So I want to keep a positive climb while also letting the airspeed build. Alright guys, we gotta bring gear up. Let's go.
Positive rate, gear up. Gear selected up. Gear up, lights out.
So I'm a little timid there. We probably should have brought it up to 500 feet per minute to start. But that's alright. Getting a little warning because we're a little low. But we just want to start building speed.
Flaps going up.
Nope, we want to keep. As they bring the flaps up, we're going to have to
Setting meter power.
fight a little bit.
600 RPM.
Speed's not really where I want it to be yet. But getting there. Still a little slow.
Meter power set.
Just keep the climb going.
Setting climb power.
Oh, we've lost an engine. Engine 2 is down. So we're going to keep the climb going. We're good on 2 engines. Ahead of us is Oakland, so if we do need an emergency runway, Oakland is down, and that's why I'm not a very good
Climb power set.
good pilot.
Takeoff sequence, please.
Have I lost 3 engines?
After takeoff checks complete.
We may be bailing out here. Okay, so we're going to pick Oakland, I guess. That's engine 2 coming back now. Out of the feather. And this is exactly what we're talking about with the This is exactly what we're talking about with the bear traps you can step in. I've got 2 engines down on power, and 3 are... Why are these feathered? What is happening? Because they're not down completely. Gonna be one of those days, huh? So we have Oakland right here. We're gonna go for an emergency landing. Gentlemen, give me a control. So let's bring flaps down, gear coming down. I got a runway right in front of me. I think we're going to go for that one because we're still just a bit fast. So you do need to know the engine out stuff, but sometimes it just happens because it seems like we have 4 engines, but 2 are auto feathering for some reason. Which I've seen before. We have no ability to stay in the air though. Right now. So I'm really pushing it. Gears down, 3 green. And let me see, can I see the runway here? I can. Coming in. Welcome to Oakland, and this is why we briefed the takeoff. So coming in. Something went there. Yeah, something went there. No. We'll run the engines down just to check things out. Nothing's feathered. Everything else is okay. We'll just start braking. So that's an emergency landing at Oakland, which is not on the timetable, mind you. So we're now behind. Let's figure out, let me get Oakland up. Where's K-Oak? Where are we at Oakland? This is also why I hesitate to fly on Batsim usually. Let's see, Oakland. We're up here on the north side. Let's just taxi left here. Actually, Oakland maintenance is right down there. Let's go that way. So we'll go right. What happened? So engine 1 and 2 didn't like what we did. Am I still... Oops. So that's pilot error there. Alright, so we have to debrief that incident, and then we'll hopefully get back on the... road. Yeah, we made it back to the airport. That wasn't textbook, but well, we'll take it. But that's, yeah, kind of what we're talking about. Sometimes, and you lose an engine on takeoff, and I'll have to go watch the tape, but sometimes you lose an engine on takeoff, and then it's just that downhill from there. So I don't know what happened, though. Why did it... I don't understand why it auto-feathered like that, because we actually don't have an engine down. We have 4 good engines, but it auto-feathered for some reason when we went to take off. So there's some mystery with it, too. I don't fully understand. Don't fully understand a lot of it. We're going to go all the way down, though, to 12, because I need all the runway I can get. We're going to... Don't look now, but... That all has stuff in it, and that's good. Okay. And again, there are many very experienced DC-6 pilots who know these things and what to do, but sometimes it just seems like that bug bites, where the engines will lose power on takeoff, and there's nothing you can do. So I don't know what happened there. We're going to go attempt a second takeoff from Oakland here on runway 12. After a lengthy stay in maintenance, we'll say. But we're going to taxi down to the long runway because that's not fun. Now, Oakland, Alpha Oakland, there's no good options, I don't think. We'd go straight ahead to... I mean, Oakland, if we have an engine failure coming off Oakland, we're going to go to San Francisco. That's what we're going to do. So thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we're rebuilding from an engine failure on takeoff out of San Francisco. We were able to make an emergency landing at Oakland. What happened, Ed, is a good question, and I don't know what happened because we didn't actually lose any engines, but we didn't have any power because the engines were going into feather. So these buttons are the feathering system, the prop feathering system, which you're supposed to use when you lose an engine. When an engine fails, that basically turns the propellers directly into the wind, so they're producing the least drag on the airframe. And when you take off, you have auto feather selected and on. So it will auto feather if it finds a condition that it doesn't like.
Boost pumps.
So we'll rerun the before start. But so I don't know. I'd have to watch the tape and see what happened there.
Fuel selector and crossfeed.
But you could tell really from the beginning, if you don't see your airspeed start to, if you don't accelerate to 165 knots, something's wrong. And you need to start figuring out what it is because you're going to go down fast.
Down, forward, pressure quantity checked. Okay.
And then so
Flaps 20.
so to save it, I had to give I ruined the engines in saving it because really coming into Oakland we didn't have enough power and we were going to hit the trees there. And so I gunned it a little bit, and I think that's what did most of the damage. That and it flipping back and forth between feathering and unfeathering. But why it kicked those props into feather, I don't know. Because the engines were running. We haven't restarted any engines. So I just had low power on engine 2.
On. Mixture and cowl flaps. Engine locked. Set. Transponder.
And so that is not a good feeling when you take off and you have no power.
Landing lights.
It's not a good feeling in a Cessna, it's not a good feeling in this airplane. Because especially this airplane does not handle well heavy and low on power.
Extended and on. Before takeoff checks complete.
But we'll give it one more shot here and see if we can get up to Portland. Scott Kelly, welcome aboard. I most of the time do love these old prop planes, but when they try to put me in the Frisco Bay, I have a little... It can be hard to when they try to do that, but in general we do love them, and they're temperamental, and it's good fun. Good fun. So again, briefing our departure, we're gonna try again to fly out of here, Oakland. We've got some new engines. They put them on in record time. We'll make sure that is good. We are still going to be doing a wet takeoff. We're still going to be flying direct to the Point Reyes VOR. And then we're going to be following those airways to the north. So that means coming off of runway 12, we're going to make a right-hand turn over the bay. And then we're going to track direct to Point Reyes. If we see a similar situation, our landing zone is going to be San Francisco. So we'll just ping-pong back and forth between San Francisco and Oakland if we take off with a lack of power again. And let's check engine indicators, make sure everything's okay. Yeah, nothing seems out of whack there. 4 takeoff checks are done. We're just coming down to the end here at runway 12. So thank you all for coming. If you're just joining us, we are taking off as United Flight 651, following, we were following a timetable from the United 1959 schedule, for scheduled DC-6 operations. But we had an engine failure leaving San Francisco, forced us to emergency land here in Oakland. We are going to try. We put some duct tape on it. We're going to try again. But that's, you know, the best thing you can do in an airplane, I think, like this. In a sim like this. We have Point Reyes in. We're going to basically track directly to that. So we're pointing that direction. But so first, I mean, coming off the runway 2, we're going to accelerate to 100 knots. We're going to take off. If we don't like, if we don't accelerate again, I swear it's a nightmare. You just take off and you're like, oh, well, I'm not actually accelerating to what I should be, and that's a problem. All that is off. Auto feather is on, as it should be. So those green lights mean that the auto feather system is on. So if it detects an engine shuts down, it should kick the feathering on without us having to do anything, because takeoff is a busy time and you don't want to have that happen at the wrong time. However, I think it's kicking on some of these engines during a normal takeoff for some reason. Some engine parameters getting exceeded, and I'm not sure what that is. Maybe I hit the wrong button. Did I hit a dry... Did I hit the wrong button? Did I hit a dry... No, because the power was up there at like 59. So I don't think I hit the wrong button. But maybe.
Water injection.
Okay, holding on the brakes.
On. 30 inches stabilize. 30 inches stabilize.
Can we stay out of the bay? So we're going to climb out straight ahead, and then when we're comfortable, airspeed's above 165 knots, we can begin our right-hand turn. But we're going to start by climbing.
30 inches stabilized. Cowl flaps. Cowl flaps. Cowl flaps sit. Full power, please. Going full power.
And I'm going to let them sit at full power and just make sure that everything here is good. I'm going to make sure that nothing feathers. We have, we're going to be looking for around the red line. All the BMEP lines are together at around 260. They're not set at full power yet.
Full power set.
Okay, and we don't have any other indications. Everything is good. Our arrows are pointing in the right way. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a manual. Maybe I bumped the throttles. But it should. I mean, in takeoff, I think it locks it if you have the. But maybe it disturbs the axis. I've had some issues with the 737 with that because, and it's been better with the update. But because I'm using, I think, axis and nose is tapping directly into the sim axis that it uses to store the position. It sometimes overrides the auto throttle if I adjust another control, like spoilers. That's 100 knots there. The airplane should want to go flying on its own. We're up. Let's try and get 500 feet per minute or so. Just to make sure we're getting... So we can kick off. See, they don't say positive rate till we hit 500 feet per minute. This is feeling low too. This isn't feeling very good.
Gear up, lights out.
Okay, gears up. Lights are out. Gentlemen, anything? Okay. See, this isn't right either. Gears up. We've been running in manual mode a long time now. We need to bring the power back. And I'm only climbing at 500 feet per minute. And my airspeed's only 120 knots. And I'm not really accelerating. And that tells me something's not right. Which is unfortunate. But see, I'm at full power. And I'm not, or just about, and I am not climbing. All my engines are shot. So that is what it is. Let's figure out where we're gonna ditch, because we can't continue like this. I don't even know if I can make the turn, but let's abort. These guys aren't doing anything for me. We've got 4 bad engines. That might have kicked off the auto feather. It did. I'm gonna turn auto feather off. And I'm losing engines now. Yep, there it goes. Gear down. Well, maybe not. What's the procedure for ditching? Another crash. And so I don't know. I don't know why this is happening. All right, I need some airspeed. Up, nose going down. Here we go. Yep, there we go. Well, so engine 3 BMBP is just on another, it's a different angle, but it's, I was looking at that, but it's still reading 260 at max power, which is what the others are. So it's just a different gauge. So yeah, this is my problem. To be honest, this is my problem with the DC-6. Is some days I get in, you run through everything, and it works well. And some days I get in, run up, try to take off, and I get 120 knots, and it dumps me in the water. And I don't know if it's something that I'm doing, which is entirely possible, or if we're dealing with some bugs, because we had that similar thing with the electrical failure last week. Right, so let's see what we can do. So I'm not sure how much of, I don't know. I'm clicking, I'm not doing anything crazy to that point. I'm just clicking the AFE, and then something's going haywire there. So maybe I need to just do a full clean reinstall. I don't know. It may be my fault, but it does kind of suck because the last flight was really fun. And it's like, yeah, I should fly the DC-6 more. And then you get here and it feels like I'm doing everything right. And it dumps me in the bay on takeoff, and I don't quite understand it. Let's see if we can get the guys up and running again. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? Is let's try it from ready to taxi and see if that does anything for us. Because A, I don't have unlimited time, and B, it's just kind of troubleshooting at this point. Because I know that electrical bug we saw last week was a bug that's not really a failure mode that we should be seeing. So maybe I need a reinstall. So, if you're just joining us, welcome to troubleshooting the DC-6. Or maybe troubleshooting my piloting skills, or maybe a little both. But yes, the second crash. And now it's not going to turn on, is it? And see, now I think things start to get a little wonky, and I may have to just restart everything. Because, yeah, now it's not even going to cold and dark. Which is kind of what makes me think that it's not exactly a... Maybe that's it. Maybe that's my problem. Because I just entirely blew out all the engines. Let's try this. They're not reset to new yet, snip. So let's just did that. So now we have 4 new engines. Let's try this. Still showing these 3 is off. Okay, so they're starting up. Let's see if we can get in the air on this one, and if we do, that's great. So we're going to start from a... We're going to start from ready to taxi and go from there. What was Point Reyes again? This is feeling like we're never going to get there. 113.7. 113.7. And the wind did shift at San Francisco, right? So we're going to go down to 10. We're going to go down to the 10s and take off to the southeast. So there's 4 engines. There's ready to taxi. So we should just need before takeoff from our automated flight engineers. Okay, there we go. Let's give this a try. So second try here, or third, really third takeoff try. And I'm just going to keep the engine stress stuff up here so that I can see what we're kind of doing and what the engine's feeling. Because, man, it's a fun plane when you get it right, but when you don't, it can be quite defeating. Yeah, that's a good point. We can top up our oil. I don't think we're that low, but let's top everything up. So maybe we'll run out of water. That's possible. On a wet takeoff, we run out of water and it kills the... So maybe it's fluids? Yeah, that's a good point. I do forget the fluids. So maybe it's fluids. Let's try with fresh fluids. I mean, water could have... Maybe water did it. I don't know. Okay, so that's fine. And let's... These props are no good either. Let's get rid of the props, too. Brand new airplane. We'll go up to the 10s and take off here. So thank you all for coming along. Apologies for the delay. We'll have to apologize to our passengers for getting them a little wet in the San Francisco Bay. But I had a feeling that that might happen. And we continued. We're going to take off from San Francisco. On this one, we're going to go left. And again, if we have engine failure, we'll turn it into a boat. So 113.7 is Point Reyes, I believe. And then Santa Rosa, 116.15, 116. I'm all over the place here, too. 0.15. And that's it. All right. Let's do it. Yeah, the poor techs, the whole poor support team, they had to fish us out of the water. Deal with grumpy VFR. And yeah, service all the props while they were spinning. It's quite a mean feat. So let's get down to 10 right and give it a shot. But I do, yeah. So maybe it's the fluids. It could be. Maybe I'm just not refilling the fluids and then I finally do it and it fixes itself. But I wouldn't think that oil would... maybe. Anti-ice fluid, no, but water, maybe. For a wet takeoff. Alright, so coming down here to 10 right. And if this doesn't work, we're going to take the 310 somewhere and mess around with that. Maybe we'll do the 310 and finish it from Seattle to Portland. A memorial flight for United 561 or 651. So those poor techs. And these are very, it's a very complicated airplane. And we'll just do all this. I should have done this while they were running.
Boost pumps on low. Fuel selector and crossfeed. Main tanks and crossfeed off. Autopilot and carb heat.
I had well, we definitely had enough when we started.
Hydraulic system.
I think we ran it, so, and remember we did stay in,
Pressure and quantity checked.
we stayed in water injection mode for a long time.
20.
On that takeoff, I didn't pull it out. I didn't pull the power out. So we may have just run down that while I don't know how much water, it takes to run per time. So I think we definitely ran out the water on that second takeoff. But I think that's because we left it in in water mode longer. So
Gas lock released.
let's see. I want to see if this goes. If it doesn't, then I'm pretty convinced it's a sim
On.
issue. I've had this in rashes too. We had it in the Jamaica flight a little bit.
On. Landing lights.
But just sometimes you're down on power. I might even. No, I'm not going to turn I'm not going to turn auto feather off.
Extended and on.
Oh, I was also.
Checks complete.
I wasn't also doing anything there when I was hitting these switches because that's just the test. That just tests if the light works. I wanted to hit this switch to turn it off. Okay, let's do it, guys. AFE. Let's do it light. Let's do it lighter. We'll give ourselves the best case scenario. Let's try
30 inches.
a light dry takeoff.
Stabilize.
Holding on the brakes.
Stabilized. Cal flaps. Cal flaps. Cal flaps set. Full power, please. Going full power.
Okay, and let's just double check. I want to sit here and check everything. Okay,
Full power set.
here we go. So let's check our engine gauges, right? We've got, and we're not in water injection, so we can hang out here for a little bit. 220, 220, 220, 220. We're getting the same fuel flow, same manifold pressure. RPMs are all looking good. Everything else looks fine. Is there anything on my big cheat sheet? Just some yellows for cylinder head temperature, which is expected during the takeoff roll. All right, we're rolling 40. Here's 80 knots, and we're also a bit, fair amount lighter than we were the first time. So let's try this. 100 knots. Let's take off. And just, yeah, so that's much better, but let's see.
Nice rig. Gear up. Gear selected up.
Will it come up? And I'm already climbing out better. See, I'm not even doing anything. I'm at 1,000 feet per minute. So is it feeling better? And so I want to trim down a little bit. Now I have reduced all the load out of the thing, which makes me think it's kind of a gross weight issue, but we're only taking it, we're not at max gross weight, and we're at sea level. It's not like we're in a weird condition. So that, I don't understand why that would be our problem. I mean, we're doing something, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're not doing something the DC-6 should be able to do.
Setting climb power.
Because right now we're empty, no baggage, no passengers, 77,000 pound gross weights. We're well under gross weight. So maybe that's it. I don't know. That is much better. This is what it's supposed to be like.
Climb power set. After takeoff checklist, please.
So I assume it's something to do with that, and maybe I'm calculating something wrong. And
After takeoff checks complete.
I trust the simulation, but I also think I get some weird bugs here in the DC-6 sometimes. All right, let's turn left, direct point Reyes, and let's get this flight going. We had to leave all the people in the bay. We had to leave all of their bags in the bay. But the pilots will get there. We will get there. And we're going to climb up to, I haven't even thought about cruising altitude. It's probably a fort. I guess we're technically we're going north and west, so 14,000 feet. Alright, we're climbing out. Let's get gyropilot going. And we had a buggy gyropilot last time too. So I think I need to try a clean install. And now we're almost going we're climbing too fast. Now we're doing too well. Yeah, that's right. That is the important part. Alright, so we're direct to Point Reyes. We are up. Thank you all for bearing with us as we get in the air in the DC-6. Most likely pilot error. Wave goodbye to San Francisco. Engines look good. And we're on our way. But I guess we took off with the same load in... We took off with the same load in San Diego and LA. So I don't know. If anyone watches the tape back or is a DC-6 expert and knows what I'm doing wrong on those takeoffs, let me know. We're in climb power. Everything else is good. We're flying direct to Point Reyes. And we've got Santa Rosa on 116.15 on standby. And now we get into the more fun part of some radial navigation. And I'm going to give us actually probably a shortcut. We'll go direct to Red Bluff. So just a refresher who's joining us, here's our flight plan for today. We're down here in San Francisco. We're going up to Portland. I'm going to fly out here. We might, let's see. We're going to fly to Point Reyes and then make the right turn. We might just cut directly to Red Bluff, give ourselves a little direct shortcut, and get going. I'm a little behind where I wanted to be. A little behind the 8 ball. But thank you all for coming along today. We are on our way officially in our DC-6 climbing out of San Francisco. So hope you all are doing well. Having a good week. Having a good Monday. It's great of everybody to come along here as we muddle through the DC-6. But San Francisco is a cool place. I wish we had a better airport model. I think that's probably top of the wish list. What's that airport down there, I wonder? I wonder what that airport is. Is that Oakland still? Maybe. Kind of cool climb out. DC-6 over San Francisco. Chris, welcome aboard. Good to see you. How you doing? Hope things are well in Houston. And Mopar dude, happy Monday. Welcome aboard. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. What's new with you guys? We're here cruising out of San Francisco. We've dumped our passengers and bags in the bay. And we're flying out. We're doing better. Let's do a little quick check, make sure everything's pointing in the right direction. It is. And we're about 24 miles from Point Reyes. And then we'll give us a little shortcut. Red Bluff's on 115.7. So we are continuing our DC-6 Mainliner ops. Flying from San Francisco up to Portland. I don't know that we're going to make Seattle afterwards, but we will see. And we can always save that for another one, because we also have Seattle, Vancouver that you can do. And it just doesn't go as quickly in a in a big propliner as it does in a big jet. But thank you all for coming along. Great to see everybody. Hope you all are doing well. We're at 10,000 feet. Looks crossing 10,000 now. I said 14,000 for a cruise altitude. I think that'll be pretty good. It saves us from having to muck with the blower and everything. I also do want to try some longer hauls. On the list of things to do with the DC-6, I want to take a trip up to Thule in northern Greenland, maybe from Keflavik, which is about a 5.5-hour flight. So if I ever we could stream. I'm not sure if we're going to stream it or do it as a standalone video. Just kind of depends, because that's probably 5.5 hours flight from Keflavik. But that would be fun to do. A good Cold Warrior flight. But if I do, I don't think I'm gonna have a hunk of time to do that on stream in the next few weeks. But we'll see. So Tool, maybe a Transcon too would be fun. We'll have to see what the next, if we want to do another series too. We could do some Delta Ops. I think we could do Northwest. Lots of things we could do with the DC-6. But it's also on my list to do that. I need to clean install this airplane and track down some of the issues we've been having, even if the takeoff issue isn't related. But we're up here now, coming up on 13, well, passing 12.5. Coming up on 13 now. Still don't have the Red Bluff VOR. But if we get rid of that Geeter and just go direct. Direct Red Bluff after that. So we'll try to take the 000 radial outbound. So we're actually already set up. We'll head due north. My Navigraph is set north up, and we're coming up now. That's 13.5. Here comes 14,000. Let's start reeling it in. And see, this isn't responding to me very well either. It's really pegged at 1,500 feet per minute. So I'm definitely having some gyro pilot issues. Because that should be going more aggressively. So I'm not sure. We're going to have to do a clean install. I also did get the new computer parts for the upgrade this weekend. I haven't gotten quite through benchmarking the current system. But I'm trying to put together a pretty decent benchmark of where the system is now with kind of my current setup. So hopefully some people with some older PCs can get a little bit of an idea of how much a new CPU would help you specifically in Flight Sim. But yeah, picked up the Ryzen 5800X 3D, which should be a drop-in replacement for me. New cooler. I'm going to clean it out, mess with some fans and stuff. So that's the project for after this. Once I finish the stream, have a couple more benchmarks to run. Want to do some taxi tests. And then go. I think I currently have a Ryzen 3700X. So I'm upping a generation and a couple revs is what I'm looking at, so we'll see what kind of difference it makes. Let's go to cruise power.
Set cruise power, please. Setting cruise power.
And they're going to set around, I don't know what they're going to end up with. Is that part of it? Is the in the next update there's a fix for the gyro pilot. That might make sense.
Cruise power is set.
I had heard some stuff about, I'd heard a little about that, but I haven't really been keeping close tabs on it.
Cruise checks are complete.
All right, and we've got Red Bluff now. So we're basically going to let the needles come in and point ourselves at it. In fact, we can go ahead and do that now. Is it not going to work? Okay. That's fine. Let's reset it. And try it again. All right, hand fly. I love you, DC-6, but you're having a day. Let's go. 14,000 feet. Let's turn right. And let's just point ourselves at Red Bluff. Do I recommend the DC-6 for semi-beginners? I think if it's something that speaks to you, absolutely. You should go for it and learn it and learn its all the stuff. Yeah. I do think you can. I will not say that it will not be a journey without frustration. But that's part of the learning process with it. And it's a really fun airplane when you do well with it. But it'll bite you if you're not paying attention and not doing some stuff. It'll bite you sometimes when you do all the right things. So it just yeah, I think so if it's one of the things you want. But if you're like, do I want to fly a 737 or a DC-6, and kind of both are speaking to you, maybe a 737 is a place to start. I don't know. Yeah, some classic midway ops. That would be good. So there's definitely a lot of really cool things, and I think it is a cool airplane to immerse yourself in. And so I guess if you're in that position, I would say it's a great choice. You're like looking for something and you're like, I want to do something maybe a little different than the big jets in flight sim land, but something detailed. Then I think absolutely the DC-6 could be the plane for you. Because you certainly could do a lot of that classic airliner stuff. Classic hauling, classic long hauling, classic short hauling. I mean, it really did everything. You can do it all. There's really nothing you can't do. But it takes some learning. So like if you have kind of the bandwidth to focus on it and you want to make that one of your things, absolutely do it. If you're going to get this in 3 other airplanes, I would caution. I'd have more caution. You know. But definitely a lot of cool classic operations that you can do. And I actually have a blast flying the Everts modern day ops. We did a couple of those out of Fairbanks and Anchorage, and that was a really good time too. I mean, we should do more of that. Add that to the list. Fairbanks, Dead Horse, Valdez, Nome. I saw there was a Nome freeware on flightsim.to. Made me think of that airplane. So like even the modern DC-6 stuff is pretty fun. There's definitely a lot of fun use cases. So thank you all for coming along. We're just cruising along now. We're in the air. We're heading up towards Portland, Oregon. Cruising at 14,000 feet today. Hopefully that external view isn't too crazy loud like it is for me. Flying the DC-6B here. United Mainliner colors as we do United Flight 651. We started on the last stream San Diego to Los Angeles to San Francisco, and on this one we're going to do San Francisco up to Portland. We did have a little mishap in the San Francisco Bay, so we left all of our passengers and baggage behind, unfortunately, in the water. But what's important is that we're on our way now, and we'll figure all that out on the other end. Welcome aboard, Tom. Good to hear from you. We are on our way up to Portland. Yeah, and a mopar, dude, I think that's more than enough to keep you busy. Between, I mean, I don't get into the CRJ as much as I used to. But even going back and forth, it just takes some mental work, store of everything up, going back and forth. But like the back and forth between the airliners isn't so crazy. And the DC-6 isn't that, it's not that difficult in a procedural standpoint, because you have the AFEs that can do a lot of the stuff. So as long as all that works, it's good and you can do it. When that doesn't work, we have some problems. But I have a heck of a time dusting off the Airbus half of my brain. But that's just from practice, or a lack of practice. Charging now over Northern California, here in our United DC-6B Mainliner. That's all good. And then what's up next? We're going straight to Red Bluff, which is about 100 miles. Then we're gonna make again, I'm gonna give myself another shortcut because I am my own air traffic controller, and we'll head for the Rogue Valley VOR. Oscar Echo Delta 113.6. 113.6. So I'm just cutting all the corners. We're gonna get to Portland and get down. Another thing we can do is check on the weather at Portland. Well, speed's good, everything else is good. Is my cheat sheet good? It is. All right. So let's check weather at Portland. Portland, Oregon is reporting wind 140 at 8 knots, 10 surface mile visibility, few clouds, 25,000. We've got temperature 3C, altitude 3038. Nothing crazy in there. 140 at 8. I'm not too familiar with Portland. Again, I don't do that much West Coast flying. And I can't also have the brains of a goldfish. So what is, what did I say? 140 at 8 knots. Let's get that up. We're looking at just planning our entry into Portland. We got 10 left and 28. We got the 10s and the 28s here at Portland. We're going to stay well away from runway 321. I don't want to deal with that. And then we can see at Portland, we have an ILS for 10 left. We have an ILS for 10 right. And that's, as of now, that's the way we're going to want to go. So I think for the moment we'll plan the ILS 10 left into Portland, which has us coming out to the west of the airport, and then making a right-hand turn to pick that up. So that'll work for now. 29.6. I'm getting something weird here. Oh, I lost, did I hit the button? 115.7. I did hit the button. So I don't want to do that. We're about 30 miles out now from Point Reyes here. We got about 100-mile lag, 125 nautical mile lag. So at about 70, we'll start to switch over to Red Bluff. We've got, we do have good signal from both of them. So that helps. Marcella, don't ask what happened in San Francisco. What happens in San Francisco stays in San Francisco. All we will say is we left our passengers and our baggage in the bay. So it was doing really good. San Diego to Los Angeles, LA to San Francisco. We made it, no issues. We didn't even blow up an engine. And that all did not happen. So we got the first takeoff out of, and this will be posted online if you want to watch it later. We can go over the tape. First takeoff out of San Francisco, we had no power, so basically didn't gauge airspeed, and my engine's auto-feathered. Now, I'm not sure why that happened. We didn't actually lose an engine, but we didn't have any power coming off the runway. So we were able to limp into Oakland and do an emergency landing at Oakland across the bay. And then we did a quick repair, a hot swap, put some new engines in, tried to take off from Oakland, and we didn't make it. So we got a little wet there. Then we just reset after that and took off from San Francisco. Pretty light, so we left everyone. We took off light to kind of ease that a little bit. I'm not sure what happened from the... We'll have to watch the video. It's just no power on the takeoff. Snip suggested it might have been the fluids, so we may not have had enough water for a wet takeoff. It's possible. It might have been me bumping my controls, which would throw a real quick change in manifold pressure, really throw off power, and that could throw an engine, that could destroy an engine real quick. But yeah, basically I ended up with 3 engines auto-feathered here, and I don't know why. So maybe we should, and then maybe we should try turning that off. I don't know. I'll have to watch it. It's not the first time that's happened, but it seems to just jump up and bite me sometimes, and I don't know why. So we're on our way. "14,000 feet. We've got about 40 miles behind us. And this is about a 2-hour flight, is the stated flight time. We'll see what we can do to cut that down just a little bit. Alright, so let's put some... Let's try and chill out a little bit. As much as we can. In our cruise here. So thank you all for coming along. I did also forget to do the cabin views. Meant to, but this is pretty good too. I gotta set that up. So we gotta figure out what's next. We may do something non-DC-6 next week. Maybe some freight. We haven't flown freight in a while. 737 freight. We could do when we get back in the 310. We can give that a little break after finishing our transcontinental flight, but could hop back in the 310. We could try something new. DC-3 is the other one I've been meaning to do more. Just a lot of planes to fly in no time. So DC-3, my dilemma with the DC-3 right now is what route is the iconic DC-3 route. So I'm working on why you should fly the DC-3. And I need to figure out what route best encapsulates why the DC-3 is a fun experience to fly in flight sim. And so there's kind of the two halves of DC-3, which is you've got DC-3 C-47 classic wartime 40s 50s mainline airliner kind of DC-3, and then you have kind of the modern bush plane DC-3, and I go back and forth on which one would be kind of more fun to showcase as the flight and why you should fly. So that's really what's holding me up. I gotta try out a few things, because obviously you can do the Buffalo Airways stuff in northern Canada for the, not unlike the Everett's DC-6 stuff we do. You know, cold, short runways, lots of fun. Or you could do like a Piedmont flight, but or you know, some kind of classic airline that doesn't exist anymore. Well, Piedmont does exist, but not in the same way. Where you could just hit that nail right on the head and fly to Normandy. Or Arnhem, that's the town for Bridge Too Far, right? Market Garden. So you could hit that nail right on that head. Although I think that'd be better in IL-2, but you can do it, so that's an option. Yeah, so like the DC-3 bush trips. I know there was an old one in FSX that you could do, which was like desert stuff. I didn't get it at the time, but definitely was. And that's another option, right? Do you do kind of a modern DC-6 bush trip? Or DC-3 bush trip? I don't... It's like that classic stuff. And I guess you could do that no GPS too. You don't have to have a GPS for that. But the real thing is I just haven't tried it. I haven't flown in both. I haven't sat down and flown that. And so I need to put together a bush trip to fly for the DC-3. And I don't know why I'm going to do this, but let's see what VATSIM events are coming up. What's VAT USA got for us? When's Cross the Pond? Is that April? I heard Cross the Pond was April 1st. Is that accurate? That's a ways out. It's not on this. It's not online. And I'm not brave enough to do Cross the Land over in Europe. That's a little tricky. We got so it's January's over. It's 1:30. So we got Winnipeg is this Friday. Winnipeg Whiteout. Saturday is Operation Deep Freeze, which is Minneapolis, which could be fun. Got New York FNO the week after. Do we have anything on Mondays? We got Midway Monday. Well, so let's circle Midway Monday, because we do like Midway. So Midway Monday on February 13th. So just, yeah, so thanks for coming along while I plan my schedule for the next few weeks, for the next month. A lot of week, there's actually in February a lot of week events, or midweek events, which is kind of fun. I mean, because this week we have Wednesday. Do we have anything Tuesday? We do. We've got BVA Regional Circuit, Boston, Albany on Tuesday. We've got... I can actually, you know, I don't know why I'm not pulling this up. But while I sit here and cruise and plan our trip, let's actually also switch over. VOR 64. Let's do it before I forget. 115.7. And we're actually, nav's not tied into anything, so we're just going to hit that. And let it go. About 60 miles to that VOR, which makes sense. So anyway, what were we doing? We were planning my week. Or month. So... gotta get the capture right. So, Vat USA, what do they have for us? Bravo's, Charlie's, and Delta's and Y. Miami. The Miami Tracon on Wednesday. Boise on Thursday. Got a flying in Boise. Winnipeg on Friday. And then Saturday is Minneapolis. I don't know what Everglades is. Key West to Southwest Florida and Palm Beach. You got Tuesday, New York FNO, which just sounds... no offense to anyone in New York controllers. They do a great job. That's going to be packed. Sounds miserable. We got Snowy Night in Colorado. Is that Denver? Or no, Colorado Springs and Pueblo. And then next week, it looks like Dallas. DAL. So as a Southwest. So we got our Southwest 7-3. We might have to do that. Midway Monday. And then Louisville? Yeah, oh, Louisville BWI, so that's a good one. So anyway, lots of stuff. Lots of stuff going on. Cross the pond prep. I think I'll try to do cross the pond again if I can. Oh really? No report, dude. That's pretty cool. Lots of Southwest. That's a neat airport. You got the shorter runways than they appear, because the big displaced thresholds is kind of neat. That's just really a throwback kind of airport. Similar, it's almost similar to San Francisco. You just got those 4 crossing runways. Very much like what's Houston? Houston Hobby. It's a very similar layout. So thank you all for coming along. If you just joined us, we are on our way to Portland, Oregon. Cruising out here over Northern California, 14,000 feet. We've got gas. We do. We got power. We do. We got 4 engines. We do. So things are going better now. We did have a little mishap. We left our passengers and bags in the San Francisco Bay. But everyone's fine. It's all fine. We're all fine here. So great. Hope you all are having a great Monday. You all are having a great time flying, whether you're flying in your sim or you're flying vicariously through us. Welcome aboard. Again, we're about halfway to Red Bluff, and then we're making that left-hand turn. We're going to go direct to Rogue Valley. Medford, Oregon, which is incidentally where the the Diamond DA-40 that I own in FS Economy is stuck. I flew it all the way from Alaska. I bought it in Alaska, flew it to Oregon, and for whatever reason, that's where it ended up, is Medford, Oregon. And then I think I sold it. Because FS Economy is great, but also it could use an update. But it's a really cool concept. And then maybe more DC-6 stuff. We'll see. There's lots of... we could finish this route up. We got lots of Delta stuff that you could do. And the cool thing about these is looking up old timetables and stuff. It gives you kind of a pre-made itinerary, a pre-made road trip that you can do. So you just follow the timetable down. It'd be hard to find one that stops at all the places you want. But, or even just doing some kind of more normal ops. I mean, the DC-6 is just another one where I don't keep my proficiency as high as I should if I really wanted to be good at it. right? Like you could, this is definitely a plane that you could really be good at, and it could be the plane you fly. And it just hasn't been that for me at this point. But I would like to do more of it so that I can keep that, can build that proficiency a little bit more instead of, you know, putting it in the San Francisco Bay. We're basically gonna keep flying up this valley all the way towards Red Bluff and Redding, and that's kind of when we'll make the jump. And I mean, we still got a ways to go here in California. California is a long state. It's funny when you look at, I mean, you think of San Francisco as more northern California, but at least an Easterner like me would. There's just a lot more California to go. It just keeps going. A really cool country. It's cool that you can see the mountains coming out here. So that's good flights. This would be a good flight for even a 310. A little long for a 310, but not bad. Honda Jet, that's the other one I wanted to work on. You want to get another Honda Jet in there. So we'll have to pencil in a Honda Jet stream at some point too. Right now we're just cruising in our PMDG DC-6B, not 3, in our United Mainliner colors. Thank you all for coming along. Hope you all are having a great Monday evening. Or Tuesday morning, if such is your situation. Cruising with the Mainliner. It is funny, for all the drama of takeoff and landing, once you get into cruise, there isn't too much really to do other than your navigation. Alright, let's get our navigation figured out here. About 20 miles out from Red Bluff, and then we gotta see if we can pick up a Rogue Valley 113.6, which is over here. We're still not getting it. Now, if we don't get it, let me delete some waypoints here. We can get rid of Fort Jones. And that puts us, fine, 335 outbound from Red Bluff. We're a little off to the right, too. This work? No, it will not. Will get mad at me if I do this. Perhaps. Just gonna make a little right turn correction to get to get pointed in the right direction. Just a little nudge over. Yeah, retro airports, retro traffic, Marcel, would really, that'd be pretty cool. Like, oh, that'd be a cool setting to have. DC-6 retro traffic. And I mean, we do have a lot of the databases. I mean, I know there are add-ons out there with the databases. Now I've made it mad. With the databases out there, that could be, you know, a cool thing. I know they have some retro airports for, like, I think mostly in the UK on flightsim.to. There's a couple of them. It would be a cool thing. Yeah. Don't turn right, please. See, now you want to go wings right. Wings left. I don't know why it wants to fly left. So we're hand flying now. That's fun. Thankfully, this plane is not too... it's nice to hand fly in the cruise. But yeah, some 50s, 60s era airports would go pretty well with this. About 10 miles now. We'll start thinking about 335 is what I said, right? 33. So let's go down to just 3.3 and 3.35 is probably right about there. So we'll pick up the 335 radar outbound, track of that, really pick up Rogue Valley. And then we'll go direct to that. A little trim, just a smidge of trim. I think my trim's too sensitive in this plane. Just a little bit. Peter, no GPS is on this one. We are flying Slant Alpha. Got the Ventix radios. And that's it. Although I do cheat. I'm cheating. I have Navigraph up next to me, so I've got my tablet, but we're flying. We're doing our best. Although I've never been the strictest Slant Alpha, Slant Whiskey adherent. I'm not a purist by any stretch of the imagination. 4.5 miles now. Again, it's going to be a left-hand turn, And once we get into kind of 3 miles, we'll be looking for about 335. Heading 335. don't want to climb too much. Just want to keep it going. So just going to try to anticipate the turn a little bit. And once that radio comes in, we'll pick it up. So cruising in our DC-6B, United Mainliner flight. And here we go. We're passing Red. Wish I could remember these things. Red Falls or Romeo Bravo Lima. Red Cliffs. I've only said it 100 times. So thank you all for coming along for just joining us. We are flying our DC-6B. As United Flight 651, we departed San Francisco, about an hour ago after a couple of attempts. Here goes the radio. I am talking and not listening, or not watching. But yeah, it took a couple tries to get out of San Francisco. We did get a little wet. But thankfully, we're in a sim and it is... Alright, Red Bluff. Yes, that's right, Peter. Red Bluff. I knew it was one of those things. Red Bluff, and we're on to Rogue Valley. Unless it's Rouge Valley, but I don't think it is. Yep, Northern California. And the gyropod's acting up. Hopefully that update fixes some of this. It is a little bit of a drag, but it's not too bad. The DC-6 is quite a stately airplane. Wing hand flying. It's the best way to put it, I think. And missing on this side too. But thank you all for coming along. We're heading up to Portland, Oregon, as part of United Flight 651. I don't think we're going to make it to Seattle, just because we had that delay getting out of San Francisco. Rogue Valley, where my DA-40 ended up from FS Economy. For whatever reason. And I'm off to the right. Let's go ahead and fix it. I'm just waiting for Rogue Valley to come in. After Rogue Valley, we're heading to Eugene. It's great to see y'all. Hope y'all are having a great Monday. Hope y'all are enjoying your flying or flying vicariously through us. Welcome aboard. It has been a little eventful, but we're now kind of in a stable cruise. 11 north of Red Bluff. Little stable cruise. Let's see if I can get a scenic view while also capturing those needles. I do very much enjoy the DC-6 cockpit. It is a good classic one. Alright, we're just going to keep it coming left. Try not to blow through it again. Staying here 14,000 feet. And here is, there's Rogue Valley. And so we're just going to point ourselves at that VOR. I guess it's a Vortac. And keep the flight going. Coming down a little bit of nose down trim. See there, that's a little crazy. I'm getting crazy descent there. Just a little trim. Come back up. All right. It's about 150 miles up to Rogue Valley from Red Bluff, and then on another 100 or so to Eugene. So we're getting there, but we still have a little ways to go. Let's see if it'll hold now. I've reset it. Give me a little. Come on. Don't send me off to the right. Or off to the left, I should say. It does, doesn't it? When I have it, I mean, so... That's dragging me to the left again. Stop dragging me to the left. It is pretty sensitive. Like, and I feel like the response from it's really sensitive there. I don't know why. That in particular, but I have it set up in Axis nose for everything. So every time I hit the button, I think it clicks it 3 or 4 times. And I think that's a little too sensitive for this, but like for the 7.3, it's fine. And for the, I think for the 310, it's pretty good too. The 310R. But yeah, maybe a little too sensitive for the DC-6. Adam, welcome aboard. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. So the gyropilot is a known issue, I think, with the latest update, or I'm not sure. I thought it was actually with the beta that they were having issues, but it may be with the main branch. I don't know. I thought they were having issues with the whatever they're calling the avionics update, AAU1, which is the update bringing stuff for the longitude and I think integrating the working title CJ4. But yeah, my gyropod's basically an op. I can maybe get it to hold me on a heading, maybe. But I don't have any localizer mode or climb and descend. And then we had a weird electrical bug on approach into San Francisco on the last stream, which I did research on that, and that was definitely a bug, not an intended failure, where we just lost all radios, all electric power on final approach. So it was weird. I'll just go ahead and switch over since we have it. That way we're counting down to where we're going. 106 miles. In about half hour. 28 minutes. But yeah, it's a fun climb when you get it all right. It really is. Yeah, it's not just you. I mean, there's a bunch of little issues around. And I know there's some issues with power too. Like, some of it's hard to parse out what's a bug and what's pilot error, and maybe a little of both. I'm not saying that I think my takeoff thing is a bug, but I am saying that I think I did everything okay. We'll see. So it can be a little finicky in that respect, but usually the gyropod's pretty good. But there's definitely some known issues floating around in flight sim world right now. With this specific plane. And I don't keep too much, I'm not in, any of the betas or anything for MSFS, because I can't. I'm just trying to keep a lid on the normal stuff. But yeah. But yeah, definitely not just you. So we probably about a little over an hour left. We're gonna have to start descending too at some point. We're at 14,000 feet. We can talk about that. What's Portland at? Portland is at about 100 feet. About 30 feet even. Now the ILS has us coming down to 3,000 feet. So we gotta lose 11,000 feet. 5 nautical miles per 1,000 feet. So 55 miles away we need to start descending, plus 20 to slow down. So about 75 out. And so, yeah. That's probably crossing Eugene. We should probably start our descent. $6,000 feet by Salem. Salem. I don't know what arrival that would be on. Right now I've just programmed in my Mark 1 brain heading direct from Eugene to Portland, but Where's the IAF? Is that? Could also do the Columbia visual for runway 10 left. I do like a good charted visual approach. That's too far. O City, I gotcha. O City arrival. O City 3, I see ya. Yeah, I gotcha. Man. And that does, well, I guess that picks up at Rogue Valley, actually. So you wouldn't even have to fly, wouldn't have to touch Eugene. And that puts you at O City at 7,000, and then, so here's what, here's what Peter's talking about. Which we can fly. We can fly that. Yeah, let's fly the O City 3. Saves me a turn. Here's the chart. Yeah, this is, Adam, this is Navigraph. It is a paid... I got out of it. It is paid. I enjoy it. I think it's good. It does a lot of things for you. It loads all the charts in, which is nice. But I would say that the nav data component is more essential than the charts. The charts are kind of a nice to have. But if you're flying on VATSIM at all, I mean, the nav data is huge to have, updated nav data. So I don't know if I'm going to renew my charts subscription. I don't know if I need this, especially not for flying in the US. Outside the US, it becomes very useful. But in the States, all our charts are published by the government freely. So O City arrival, the O City 3. Rogue Valley, which is where we're flying direct now. And then we would just track that outbound 345. And then you're heading towards Battleground, heading 345. We'd cross O City at 7,000. We would expect 10,000 advance. We'll give ourselves whatever I want. Now, I don't see Salem. But we have it, so the left, and it is, I mean, they do a good job with the charts. These are all the Jeppesen charts, which is another company that makes these charts for professional pilots, for real pilots. So that's good. We can try that, but still, I think crossing around Eugene, that probably gives us about maybe a little before Eugene, 70 miles or so to kind of get down. And I'm not going to try and make the final plunge from 7 to 3,000. I'm just going to ask for it. So ask for some forgiveness. Out over the mountains now. We got a little ways to go yet. We'd basically stay on this radial, shoot that approach, and then fly. We'll fly right next to the Eugene VOR. Thank you all for coming along. If you just joined us, we are flying United Flight 651, San Francisco to Portland, Oregon. Ah, Salem won't matter. Okay, well that's good. And then we can get let's pull up. Let's get our frequency set up. Eugene would be important reference at 112.9. 1129. And then battleground 116.6. And then of course the localizer for 10 left, which will be 111.3. But I will write that down. So about 70 north of Rogue Valley now, or 70 south of Rogue Valley. About 20 minutes out. Cruising in our DC-6B. Portland or bust. Have we formally crossed into... I don't think we've left California yet. We should be getting close. What's the border, though? Yeah, I'm getting just a little off to the right, too. Yes, the border's up at the 42nd parallel, so we're not quite there yet, but we're bearing down on it. Just gonna point ourselves at the VORTAC. Anyway, let's do a fuel check real quick. We should have plenty. We're showing 30 and change, 30 and change, 30 and change. Nothing in the aux tanks. We didn't load anything in the aux tanks. And this is what I get for fighting the gyro pilot. There's some small corrections to get us pointed in the right direction. Out over the mountains now. reset this. So I messed with it. That's what I get. That's what I get for messing with it. So let's click that back on. And it's gonna fight me back the other way. Just gonna give it a little knock and see if that does anything. So yeah, gyropod's a little bugged out. But it's alright, we knew that going in. Let's hand fly for a minute. Oh, I don't want to unlock it. So let's give that a shot. I want to stay at 14,000. But yeah, once again, the cruise DC-6, not... There's not a ton of cruise management other than navigation, which I guess can be said for most planes. Let's see, so we're 40 here. Do we have Eugene? We do not yet. It is on nav 2. 29.0. No, that's 112.9. Yeah, that's right. Okay. We've got Eugene, and once it comes in, it'll come in, but nothing for the moment. Makes sense, it's a ways out. Alright, get into break. Let's try this. It is, isn't it? Once you step back, it's well proportioned. It looks kind of tough, but also graceful. It's a good looking plane. That DC-3. Now, I don't know if we're going to beat the sunset. I think we would, but maybe not. I mean, we still have a ways to go after this. I mean, as the crow flies, we're only really halfway. This is a farther flight than I thought. But a good one. Alright, let's get back in the cockpit and see what's going on. We're 17 miles now. South of Medford. We're a little off to the left. It's alright. If I could turn right, I would. Of course I can't. We're coming over Medford, Oregon now. And then again, we're going to track 335 outbound from here. And then it'll basically put us straight onto the approach for Portland. I should let me tag the O City 3 arrival. And let's keep it in the air too. How about that? So they say 10,000, which is basically at 47 miles from Battleground, which we would be able to meet, but I don't. That makes me feel a little uncomfortable just with. So we'll kind of request a little special approach. Because I don't really want to be at 10,000 feet, 30 miles from the airport. If at all, if I can help it. May not be able to help it. But considering I'm my own ATC, we can probably work it out. Needle's starting to come in. Had a little turn to pick it up. Then again, around Eugene, we're going to start talking about descending. Maybe a little before Eugene. Getting close now, about 7 miles. Alright, let's try and catch it. Well, actually, we haven't passed it yet. Let's pass it. See where that gets us. Chris, see ya. Thanks for coming along. Appreciate it. Hope you have a great week. Thanks for flying. 2 miles now. I'm just gonna keep pointing this way. And then again, it's about 100 miles to Eugene and then another 70 or so in. Crossing Eugene, we can also look to be about 100 miles south of the Battleground VOR. That's probably a decent enough. A decent enough point to go. And we don't have a ton downhill. I need to practice taking the DC-6 higher, but it goes back to the proficiency thing. I just gotta be proficient. And then I should say 345. I'm not reading this right. 345. Just a little over here. And we'll just track that outbound for a little while. And we do have Eugene on nav 2, so let's put that in. That'll be a little more helpful distance-wise as we plan our coming down. Ready to give it one knock back, but let's give it one knock of trim. Alright, now let's put that VOR behind us. Yeah, that's about good. Let's level here. Ooh, I'm losing altitude. Okay, I trimmed. That's what I get for trimming. Alright, let's just try to do a very natural trim. Let's just try and... Nope, don't go all the way down. Try and get it at 14,000 if we can. So thank you all for coming along, just joining us. We departed San Francisco about 2 hours ago. Tried to. Had a little issue in San Francisco, but we're now on our way to Portland, Oregon, where we're going to land. We're going to land and get a stiff drink. Coming in on Eugene, and then, yeah, right around Eugene, we'll start our descent down to a lower level. Should be good. Thanks for coming along as we fly our DC-6B United Mainliner Flight 651 as we track it over the Pacific Coast. Started in San Diego, up to Los Angeles, LAX, San Francisco, SFO, now on to Portland, Oregon. I'd actually have to check the timetable to see what flight that actually would have been, but it certainly would have been one. Our little timer showing about 20 minutes. So we're getting around close to Eugene. It won't be perfect. But it will be pretty close. Then right about as we're passing it, we'll start downhill. Just getting back on track here. Adam, thanks for coming along. Appreciate it. Have a great night. Great rest of your week. Happy flying. Thank you all for coming along tonight. As we settle in. settle in for the rest of this cruise. It is a fun plane to hand fly. Pretty undramatic other than the sensitive trim. Well, in a way, you can see that VORs because we're kind of shooting at a rival. We're just going to fly next to, but not quite to, the Eugene VOR. Alright, we just don't need to go up. Just keep it going. And a little high. Let's keep it going down. We're looking good, though, otherwise. Just check our engines. That looks pretty green. About 30 miles from Eugene now. And then on Nav 1, we'll get Battlegrounds tuned up 116.6. And then we're basically looking, once we're due east of Eugene, I think that's when we start our descent. Keeping it coming, preparing for our descent into Portland. Thank you all for coming along tonight. And we're just climbing a little bit. We're kind of getting into range now. We're going to start just preparing to come downhill. Now again, we're going to start our descent, let the speed come up, and then once we're kind of set, we'll let the guys run the descent checklists. And then once we're getting close to the airport, we'll start to reference the battleground VOR. Once we're about 20 miles out from there, we'll start to expect a left turn heading 280. Let me double check Portland weather. PDX. Looks like we've got a... I don't want that runway. That's not going to do anything for me. I want one of the 10s. I think we said 10 left, right? Wind 5, 140. Wind's 140 at 5 knots. 3036 is the altimeter. Got few clouds. A VFR 1.7C. So punch that in. It is cold. Yeah. Cold but clear out, and I am just still ascending. I cannot level this thing. Very cold. 1C, almost freezing. Oh yeah, but I'm afraid to trim it because the bottom's gonna fall out a little bit. And yeah, we're about due east of Eugene now. Crossing that. So now's as good a time as any to start coming downhill. Let me see if I can trim out a little bit. We're going to look for about 1,000 feet per minute. And then I'm going to clear us down to descend, maintain. Pilots, I'll give us, you know, we could say pilot's discretion down to 10,000. That's nice and DC-6 friendly. Boy, this trim is just all over the place. And I'm also going to switch over to the battleground VR because it's going to be more useful for us as a reference. On N1, we're about 90 miles from that, and the airport's about 20 miles from there, so you can do the math. And then our localizer frequency is going to be 111. Assuming we don't have another electrical failure, 111.3. So let's keep that going. We're aiming for about 1,000 feet per minute. Flying direct to that battleground VOR. Let's keep coming downhill. Thank you all for coming along. We're just starting our approach into, or arrival into Portland, starting our descent. We're about 70 miles from the airport. And then basically we're going to play it pretty safe. We're not going to try and cut it too close to the runway. Might set us up on a long base. Or 10 left. It's just taking a little bit of pressure to keep that descent rate up. Getting a little sunset flying here in our Mainliner. And now that we're going, we can also get the descent checks. We'll bring a little power back. Help us manage speed a little bit so we're not going crazy.
Seatbelt signs on. Engine low is low.
And then in range, I think once we're kind of down at 3,000, we'll go ahead and get those descent checks run. And we'll have to keep an eye out for terrain, because there is some terrain in the area. That could be a factor. As we vector ourselves about. We can clear ourselves down to, oh, I don't know, 7,000. See, and I'm just having a hard time getting it just right. So pretty cool sunset now. I do like a good sunset arrival and landing. On a cold and clear day here in coming into Portland. Cold and clear coming into Portland. And now we're just dive bombing. Man. Sometimes you just gotta fight this thing a little bit. And again, in my head, 40 miles from Battleground's going to be about 20 from Portland. Just for our planning purposes. Showing 60 miles now from Battleground. We got that queued up on nav 2 too. And we don't need Eugene anymore. That's about 6,000, so we're looking pretty good. Not in any great rush. And Mount Hood are 1 o'clock. You got the mountains coming in. That's a big mountain. Those are big mountains. The 6,000's pretty good. We'll just start looking ahead at this point too. And so I think what we're going to do is come on down here to 5,000 feet. Kind of get ourselves into the frame of mind. We could have probably come down a little later, but that's all right. We're showing 50 miles now. I think that should be the airport off our nose. Inactive volcano. Very cool. Yeah, the mountains out in this part of the country are crazy. I also probably need some light. Alright, and so I'm gonna go start. Let's get down first. And then we'll start vectoring ourselves around. There's 5,000. Well, yeah, and in my own little head canon, we're kind of on our own. Or we've got other DC-6s. I don't know what they would have done in 59. You know, I'm sure it's come a long way. We'll keep it down here and hang out. We're in a pretty good spot right now. Let's get ready to turn hot. Good. We're just a little off, but that's all right. And here's where the fun really picks up. If anything, we can even go back to cruise if we want a little more power to get the rest of the way. We gotta kind of clear this ridge. Let's go ahead and kind of reset cruise.
City cruise power.
Just to help us maintain a little bit. I don't want to get down to 145 out here. So we still have a little bit of ways to go.
Cruise power is set.
That's Oregon City in front of us. Okay, gotcha. So that's O City.
Cruise checks are complete.
Let me get flight recorder up too. That would be useful of me. And we just need to come right a little bit. And then we'll just kind of reset descent and do all that. Run in range. Checks in a moment. But 5,000 feet feels pretty comfortable. So, climbing in Portland, or descending into Portland, if you're just joining us, we are getting ready to shoot our approach into Portland, Oregon. We departed San Francisco a little while ago. We had some false starts. We got a little wet in the San Francisco Bay, but we finally made it out to Portland, and we're going to try not to dump it into the body of water here, which would be... Open Peter knows. We'll try and keep it dry, at least. Put wheels on the ground. As we come in, we're now 29 mile DME from the Battleground VOR. And at 16.7, we're going to kind of peel off left, get down to 3,000 feet and prep for the ILS. And we're going to make a left turn heading 280 is going to be our aim. And I'm still climbing. I'm not well trimmed. Should be just on the other side of that ridge. So thank you all for coming along this evening. Great to see y'all, hear from y'all. flying our DC-6B into Portland. The fun airplane once you get it up and going. But I do have some troubleshooting to do, I think. I probably just need to do a clean install, and we'll see if we maintain power through the whole final approach. Of course, last stream, San Francisco, we lost power right on final, which was not the worst time, I guess, to lose it. Now, I don't have a good view of the field. I think that's it right there. Perhaps. So I'm going to let us come back down.
26 inches, please. Sitting 26 inches.
We'll have the guys do their thing again. And United Park's on the north side of the airport. Okay.
Descent checklist, please. Altimeters and flight instruments.
The north terminal. Well, then 10 left will be perfect.
Seatbelt signs on. On.
Although we probably have to go to maintenance.
Low. Low. Descent checks are complete.
See how my engines are doing. They're doing all right. 4 new engines for United in the DC-6. So now we've gained some speed, but that's all right. It is a pretty scenic approach. And there's the localizer coming in. It's a good start. 18.5, so in a few, just a little bit, we'll turn left. I'm still kind of high where I want to be, but that's all right. We'll just have to be mindful of terrain off our left. As we'll start our turn now, heading 280. Kind of put us on a long downwind while we get our stuff together. If we have to, we'll bail out right and rejoin. Alright, and did I get flight recorder up? I did. Let's start it. Good, bad, or ugly? Alright, so I want to get down to 3,000 feet. I'm going to swap my frequencies around. And truth be told, we're flying this mostly visually, but that's all right.
Cooling turbine. Normal. Fuel booster pumps. On low. Fuel tank selectors. Mains on. Crossfeed off. Hydraulic bypass belt. Down. No smoking signs. On. In-range checks complete.
All right. Then we're basically looking for a 12 DME final. We're at about right ahead of us. We'll make that turn. Just want that speed to come back before we start thinking about too much. I can get it into the 170s. We're looking pretty good. And so I'd like to, you know, I kind of like to be established on final. But, however, 12-mile final, well, more than enough. I really would like a 30-mile final. If I could get it. And I need to level out. Make sure I can see my DME. And so I'd at least like to make the turn if we can. But speed's coming down. Speed's being pretty well behaved. Speed is well behaved. Coming here on 10 DME. Now we got about 1,000-foot terrain in front. And this will be a kind of tight turn for us. But I'm okay missing, you know, kind of cutting it wide. I guarantee that this is not what, you know, ATC would want me to do. But that's alright. We're DC-6. We're special. They'll have to accommodate us. So that's 12 miles there. As we make kind of a long turn to final. Let's see if the speed can get there. I don't want to lose all my altitude. And here's where it's gets kind of dangerous with dropping airspeed and a turn. Turn's good for bleeding speed, but DC-6 also handles a bit like a pig at low speed in a turn. It flies even a little bit worse. But we got glide slope, so that's good. And we have visual on the runway. So let's give it a bit of trim. Just to intercept that localizer. Alright. Not much drama there. That's good. Got 100 BMEP on all the engines. We're at flaps 20 now. Let's give it a shot. We got the runway coming in. We got the localizer coming in. And then we're just going to try and pick up this glide slope. And then it's a speed management exercise. There's a little bit of glide slope. We're level. And here we go. So thank you all for coming along. If you're just joining us, we are shooting our approach into Portland, Oregon. Papa Delta X-Ray. In our DC-6B United Mainliner. We're a little low, and that's alright. Coming here on 10 left. We're going to vacate right. We'll see what we need as far as reversers and everything. We should have plenty of runway, but if we're coming in a little hot and a little fast, it's a tool in our toolbox. Glide slope's starting to come in. So let's let it come down, and we can give it a shot at flaps. Let's see what this settles out at. If we like it, we'll give it a shot at flaps 40. We're coming in now. Lineup looks good. Localizer looks good. Wind is feeling pretty good. Not a huge crosswind. I believe it was 140 at 5 knots. So nowhere near as bad as LA was. And so this is feeling real nice right here. 110, a little more than 110. Right on glide slope. Vertical speed looks good. Altimeter is set. So looking good, feeling good, coming on in. Keep it coming down. We're a little fast. So we'll give it the last flap. And we can walk it back if we have to. Thanks, Mopar dude. We will need it. Let's try and keep it dry, right? Not end up in the Columbia? Maybe? Light sub looks good. Or my connection lost. Okay, so here we go. Where's my cursor? You're killing me, MSFS. Alright, we survived that one. Do we still have electrics? We do. But now I'm kind of out of my flow. Alright. Come on, bring it back right. Yeah, I'll bring it back right. I should just set my throttles now. Don't die on me, engines. I'm sorry. I'm at flaps 50 and still just a bit fast. I'm at 120. A little low though, so we could actually bring it back. That speed's looking pretty good, so let's set 100 again, just inch it forward. Lineup looks good. I have 4 reds, but it doesn't look all that bad. You know, poppies are being a little dramatic. That's good. Looking good, feeling good. 100 knots. All right, so I think, you know, I'm not saying we redeemed ourselves from the takeoff. But that that landing doesn't hurt nobody. Let's taxi off. Let's get this flight recorder thing fired up. And, let's call it a night. Alright, let's find this out. Where are we at? So a good landing, or that felt good all the way. I mean, that one felt good by the numbers. And that's really all you can ask for, I think. I know, didn't it? Coming up with a connection issue. Good thing we weren't on a bad sim. Because I really couldn't close it out. Some things, man. So here, without further ado, is our landing replay. Into Portland. DC-6 Mainliner. It is a fun little approach, isn't it? Man, more of a three-point landing than I thought. Not much flare in there. So anyway, thank you all for coming along. That was a bit of an adventure, but we did eventually make it to Portland. So appreciate y'all coming along on this flight. It was a fun flight, scenic flight. We'll have to fly in Portland more often. It was a good one. Thanks for all the local tip, Peter. Appreciate it. And yeah, thank you all for coming along today on this little bit longer stream. It was a good one, and yeah, can't wait for the next one. We'll dust this DC-6 off Again, I think there'll be some more stuff. I really want to do the two-layer one. I really want to do some of the other ones. Maybe some long haul, and who knows? But I'll have to troubleshoot a little bit too. So thank you all for coming along tonight. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, great day. And yeah, take it easy, y'all.